everybody. We're in week 6 of our series called Reclaimed. And what I'm going to have you do is turn in your Bibles to Colossians chapter 3. We're going to look at verses 12 and 14 today. If you're using a row Bible, one in the pocket in front of you, it's page 955, or you have the YouVersion Bible app. And as an added bonus, it will also be on the screen. So if you're like, I ain't doing none of that, just sit there. You'll be fine. So I am one of these people. I hate being late. I mean, like, being late is like the worst possible thing. I hate showing up late for something. And in fact, like, if there's an appointment that is at a certain time, I will be there before that time. That is just who I am. That is my personality. In fact, my hatred of lateness has actually caused some issues in our marriage from time to time. My wife, who I love with all my heart, she is an on-time sort of person and thinks that it is extremely rude to show up any earlier than the prescribed time of a thing. So if something starts at 12, like, by the way, if y'all having a party and we get invited and it starts at 12, we will not be leaving the house until 12. But I'll be in the truck at 11:45, ready to go. No, I hate being late. Most people, I would say, have their own feelings about that. My wife definitely has the we're going to leave at the time we're supposed to be there sort of deal. I prescribe to this philosophy. If you're on time, you're late. No. Yeah. Show it. If you're early, you're on time. If you're on time, you're late. If you're late, you're fired. That's the one that I prescribe to. If you're earlier on time, if you're on time, you're late. If you're late, you're fired. This is me. And that may sound extreme, but that is who I am. I hate being late. So as a result, I am typically dressed and ready to roll hours before the time. Like today, I know everybody got their extra hour of sleep or whatever. Not me. 6 o'clock, up, ready to go, and dressed at 6:30. In fact, I was gone from the house at 6:35 this morning, just getting ready. That's just who I am. So I get up, I get dressed, I get going. Now, this has led to some other issues in our family. From time to time, I want to leave at 11:45, which means 11:35. Just being honest, I never have the right time that I want to leave. And so what happens is I'll be sitting out in the truck waiting for the rest of my family, and I'm inside the truck and I'm pretending like everything is okay. You know what I mean? Like, I'm pretending like everything is fine, but really I am fuming and boiling inside. And when they come, struggling out of the house, putting shoes and makeup on, I try to put on my best patient face. I'm not being patient. It's a lie. It's a ruse. But this is me. This is who I am. Now, this has led to them sometimes coming out, like, putting shoes on and, like, getting in the truck and putting, you know what I mean, right? I'm not the only jerk here. Okay, but here's the deal. I understand they got to get their clothes on. Like, they have got to put clothes on. They've got to have shoes on. They got to look right, get their products in their hair and whatever. They got to do all that. How many of you are with me? You hate being late. Wow, most of you. Apply that to church start times. Okay. How many of you are always late? Like, you're going to be late to your own funeral. So I see some husbands raising their wives' arms. That's hilarious. That's awesome. How many of you have run out of the house without being fully dressed? Like, you're dressed-ish. But we need clothes, right? We need to have clothes. Like, clothes really, really matter. We have to be clothed. In America, the average American family spends $1,803 annually on clothes, which seems low, right? That seems low. $1,803. The average 23 to 34-year-old spends $161 a month on clothes, and 35 to 44-year-olds spend $209 per month. That's crazy, right? Like, that seems like a lot of money, but I don't know. That's just my shoe budget. I don't get where they're doing that. One of our favorite things as a society is to find a great deal on a piece of clothing and then sport it out in public and wait for somebody to say, oh, that jacket is nice. And like, yeah, you don't even know, $5. Like, we want to brag about the deal. Like, clothes are a big deal, right? We love clothes. We love getting dressed. And I would venture to say that none of you in this room, no matter how shabby chic you think you are, left the house without looking at the mirror. Like, I mean, maybe you just went like this. Yeah. And you just do that. And some of you are like, meh, meh, and like you're adjusting everything. You know what I mean? But we all check ourselves out. But let me ask you this question. What if we left the house more concerned with what we were displaying rather than what we look like? What if we left the house more concerned about what we were displaying rather than what our clothes look like? Now, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with looking good, but I'm saying this isn't our focus. But I want us to keep this statement in mind. It's going to seem contradictory for just a second. What you wear reflects who you are. What you wear reflects who you are. Now, clearly, I'm not talking about clothing because I couldn't care less what we got on. What you wear reflects who you are. Let's read these passages from Colossians chapter 2. Or Colossians chapter 3, I'm sorry. Paul says, clothe yourselves. Okay, so clothe, when you get clothed, you're putting on your clothes, right? Clothe yourselves with compassion, kindness, humility, gentleness, and patience. Okay, easy enough. Bear with each other and forgive one another, if any of you has a grievance against someone. Forgive as the Lord forgave you, and over all these virtues put on love, which binds them all together in perfect unity. Now, there are certain items of clothing that no one should ever have to wear. For example, suit and tie. No one should ever have to wear a suit and tie. I don't even want to be buried in a suit and tie. In fact, whatever I died in that day, that's what I'm going in the box in. Don't change clothes for me on my corpse or anything like that. Just throw me in the box with whatever I got on. And I guarantee you it will not be a shirt and tie. Now, there are things that we should never wear, but there are things that we should always put on. There are things that we should be displaying every single day. Compassion, kindness, humility, gentleness, patience, forgiveness, and love. What you wear reflects who you are. And in this passage, Paul encourages us to clothe ourselves with compassion, kindness, humility, gentleness, patience, forgiveness, and love. Why these things in particular? Why did he write this list? My theory is very simple. I think that these are the things that you will likely need every single day of your life. Every interaction that you have with another human being, interactions that you have with yourself, you will need these things on you at all times. My wife is also a very wise woman, as well as late to everything. And she learned me a lesson about clothes. Very simple. You can always take it off if you have it on, but you can't put it on if you don't have it. Now, you guys understand that, right? Like, so if it might get cold or it might rain, if you have a rain jacket on and it doesn't rain and it's warm, and you can take it off. Right, correct. Right. But if you left it in a car or at home because you're so confident in what the weather patterns are going to be, you can't put that thing on if it starts raining. And so this is why I think Paul is telling us to put on these things in particular. What you wear reflects who you are. So let's talk about each one of these. Let's talk about clothing ourselves with compassion. I view compassion as the underwear of the outfit. All right? Now, we all are wearing underwear. Okay, I'm just going to say, okay. But I think compassion is the underwear of the outfit, because I think compassion is the thing that everybody needs, everybody has in common, all right? Maybe you're in this boat, and maybe you have days like this when you say, or you have the thought, people suck on purpose just to annoy me. Anybody have those sort of days? People suck on purpose just to annoy me. Let me ask you this question. What if people are doing the best they can? What if the person that is annoying you or bothering you or messing with you or whatever, what if they're going through life doing the absolute best that they can possibly do? Now, there's no way for you to know that answer. But if you assume they are, they will never bog you down. People can be annoying. And we all fall into that category of people. Brene Brown is a clinical psychologist, and she says that compassion is a deeply held belief that we are all inextricably linked to one another. A deeply held belief that we are all inextricably linked one another. And I like that. I like that a lot. I believe that we are inextricably linked to one another because we all share the same human experiences of pain, joy, sadness, happiness, losses, wins. We all share that. And so we all are inextricably linked through human experience. Compassion lets you see the person and not the situation. And so we need to clothe ourselves with compassion. It's something that all of us need. By the way, if you ain't wearing drawers, you need to be wearing drawers. Because all of us need compassion. When we really pay attention to the people around us, compassion is the natural result. And so if compassion is the feeling or belief that people are valuable, then kindness is how we act. Let's think of compassion as the nudge or the kick in the pants for us to act in kindness. Paul says, clothe yourselves in kindness. I view kindness as the socks of the outfit. All right? I view it as the socks of the outfit because it reminds us to walk. Kindness is the action that we take based on the compassion that we've already put on. Acting on our belief that Jesus loves everyone. Now, acting in kindness, let's be honest, it does something for the recipient of your kindness, but it also does something for you. I've had people ask me before, is it wrong to feel good about doing something for someone else? No, absolutely not. I fully believe that when you feel a sense of joy or happiness or an uptick in your life, when you act in kindness towards someone else, I believe that that is God saying, attaboy, attagirl, you got it. And I believe that feeling is God letting us know that He still loves us and He still loves that person as well. It is not an accident that you feel good when you act kindly to someone else. In fact, I think it is a gift from God. He also says, clothe yourselves with humility. Now, I'm calling humility the pants of this outfit. Here's why. If you put on your whole outfit and forget your pants and you go outside, you're going to know immediately that you forgot something, right? You're going to be a little too exposed in your life. Humility is the pants of the outfit. We do all of this. We act in kindness. We give compassion because of humility. We need to understand that none of us are better or worse than anyone else. We're all just people. And so in that, humility can come to rest. And if you can't find a place for humility to rest in your life, I'll give it to you right here. Romans chapter 3, verse 23 says, all have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. This is where our humility can rest. This is how we can have compassion, knowing that we are inextricably linked. This is how we can be kind to someone else, knowing that we're no better than anyone else, because this is the most level playing field we could possibly be on. All have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. That is a level playing field. That is the same boat that each of us are in. And so we have no reason to treat people with anything other than gentleness. Gentleness, I would call this the shirt of the outfit. Now, the reason why is, you ever put a sweater on and it's super scratchy, and then you immediately take it off and put a shirt on underneath of it? Like, nobody leaves the house going, this is completely uncomfortable. I don't know if I can do, like, you don't do this all day after you put your scratchy sweater on. You put a shirt on underneath because we don't like scratchy things. Now, gentleness, in my opinion, is very important for the psyche of the people in our lives. I'll give you a quick example. Spilled milk, all right? It's like one of the oldest sayings in the history of the world. Don't cry over spilled milk. Now, spilled milk is an annoying pain. It's all over the floor. You got to get 97 napkins out and try and wipe it up. And then if you don't get it, all your kitchen's going to smell like that for 6 months. But here, spilled milk is annoying and it's a mess. But guess what? That's all it is. It's all just a mess. That's all it is. It's just a little mess. It is a temporary thing. But your reaction to the spilled milk may not be temporary. When something bad happens in your life, or when something bad like spilled milk happens to someone else, if you respond to that or speak harshly or unkindly or ungently into that, you have the ability to permanently install words into people's lives. Kurt Cobain, in one of his documentaries, recounted a time when he spilled a drink and his father made him feel like the worst person who ever lived because of that. And even as a grown man, his father's words echoed through his brain and shaped who he was. Likely, all of us in this room can think back to a time when someone was not gentle with us and hurt us with their words. And so someone not being gentle permanently installed something in your brain that you might now still believe about who you are. Compassion, kindness, humility, gentleness. We put on these things because we're in the same playing field. Also, I would say this. I think that not being gentle is extremely arrogant. When I'm not gentle with someone, and by the way, I'm not always gentle with everybody in my life. It's an act of arrogance because they made a mistake or something went wrong with them, and now I'm coming over the top and I'm hollering and screaming and, Not being gentle is an act of arrogance. And who are we to do that? Who are we to speak to someone harshly? Jesus never did that to us. He had every reason to do that to us. And he never, ever speaks to us harshly. Jesus has been gentle with us. And so we must put on gentleness. What you wear reflects who you are. And he says, put on patience. I would call patience the deodorant of the outfit. Now, here's why I say that. Because you don't put deodorant, by the way, if you do this, you're doing it wrong, all right? Don't put deodorant on before you put your shirt on. You put your deodorant on after your shirt goes on, because otherwise, it never works. No matter how you think, like, all right, I'm going to spread it, the shirt is loose enough, I'm going to spread it out, and you try to climb into your shirt somehow, you're going to get deodorant marks all over your shirt, and it's getting you white. You know what I mean? You guys have had that, right? I'm not the only one. All right, so you put your deodorant on after you put your shirt on. Patience is the deodorant because no one wants to smell your funky. Now, the question is, do you really want us to be patient? And the answer is yes, absolutely. But here's what we need to understand. Every single day, our patience, our resolve will be tested. People will test your compassion, your kindness, your humility, your gentleness. And sometimes it might even feel like, I always laugh at this when I see it on TV or something. Somebody's standing next to a puddle, and then somebody drives by and just covers them with the puddle. You guys know what I'm talking about, right? And so sometimes I think that's what it's going to feel like with our patience. We're trying to be involved in someone's life. We're trying to do something with them and love them and take care of them. And sometimes we get drenched from that. What we need to do is never shed these other things. We need to keep ourselves clothed with these other things rather than taking these things off. Anybody watch street fights on video or Instagram or anything? Okay, me and my wife and Greg, the only thugs in the building. Yesterday we went to the Syracuse game thanks to my friend Thaddeus gives tickets, and we were at the game and two old guys came and sat behind us, and they were talking about how two of the scalpers were fighting in the parking lot over territory, and my wife turns to me and she says, "Man, I wish I'd seen that." I really wish I'd seen that too. I would love to have seen that. I like the street fights. I like watching that stuff. I don't know. It's something inside me that makes me really like that. But what happens in every single one of those street fights, as they're getting ready, as they're squaring up and doing something, what are they doing? They're taking off stuff, right? They're taking off their jacket, and they might be taking off a sweatshirt or whatever, so they can get more loose so they can have their street fight. They're shedding their clothes so that they can fight. If we're going to grow in patience, what we need to not do is take off or shed compassion, kindness, humility, and gentleness. We need to keep those things on. They're kind of the protector so that our patience can continue to grow. We grow by not taking those things off, by resisting the urge to take off the patience and all of that, to take off the compassion and the kindness, humility, and gentleness. We resist that urge. What we wear reflects who we are. What we keep on reflects who we are. He then says, clothe yourselves with forgiveness. And I call forgiveness the shoes of the outfit, because the shoes remind you or let you keep going. One of my favorite shows on TV is that show Naked and Afraid. Anybody seen that show? All right, 7 of us. Great. It's one of the most successful shows of all time. I guess I'm just in a church full of holy rollers, scared of them. But the idea is that these people get butt naked and they go in the jungle and they got to survive. Now, I would die if the show was called Barefoot and Afraid. As soon as I stepped out of the truck with no shoes on, yeah, I'm done tapping out. I got to have shoes on because shoes allow me to keep going. I'm not a barefoot kind of person. Anybody else with me on that? I have to have shoes on. If I had to walk, like my youngest daughter, Loyal, she just run across the whole parking lot barefoot. Stepping on rocks, everything. If you ever get one little rock under your heel and you're like, oh, call the ambulance. I gotta go to the hospital. I don't know, that's how I feel, man. I feel like I'm gonna die. I gotta have shoes on. And I think we have to have shoes on. And I think forgiveness is the shoes. And I believe that patience is the tipping point into forgiving people. Patience is the tipping point into forgiveness. I think forgiveness is where the outfit really starts to come together and look good. When we remember compassion, kindness, humility, gentleness, because of patience, we find ourselves in the mirror, checking ourselves out, and seeing who we need to forgive. Forgiveness is like a pressure release on your soul. Forgiveness it's like the Drano on your heart. It washes away corrosion, things that you've been holding on to, and it releases you and actually sets you free, and it keeps you going. That's why I call it the shoes of the outfit, because it keeps you moving. The last piece of Paul's little outfit here is love. And, I struggled with this one. I thought maybe it's the jacket, maybe it's the sweatshirt, maybe it's the scarf or whatever. Women are wearing infinity scarves with pockets now. I don't even know how that works. Isn't that what? That's a thing, right? Oh, maybe I just made it up. Somebody make that. Let's sell it. Finish paying this parking lot off real quick. But it's the final piece. Love is the final piece of your outfit. And the reason why it's the final piece is because love covers over everything. Love covers over everything. It brings it all together. At this church at LCC, we define love as thinking the best and doing the best to the point of self-sacrifice. Meaning, if we're going to get dressed in these clothes, then we're going to have to think the best and do the best for other people. And sorry, but spoiler alert, it means that you're probably going to have to sacrifice something of yourself. Let me just take an aside here for a second. Can you put that back up, Justin, that definition? When you think the best and do the best to the point of self-sacrifice is a choice that you make. Self-sacrifice is not someone running over you to get what they want. There's a big difference there. You guys understand that, right? When I say I'm going to love someone, it means I'm going to choose to sacrifice something of myself for them. Not I'm going to stand here and let them bulldoze me. Many of you nod and say, yeah, I know the difference, but you don't live as though you know the difference between choosing to make a sacrifice and allowing people to bulldoze you. So just as a commercial, I think this is a commercial. If you have trouble with boundaries in your life and people running all over you, there's a book I want you to buy today. It's called Boundaries. And it's written by guys named Cloud and Townsend. And this book will change your life. Getting run over constantly is not an expression of love. Allowing people to constantly trample you, spiritually, emotionally, physically, that is not an expression of love. So, Boundaries by Cloud and Townsend. Love is choosing to think the best and do the best to the point of self-sacrifice. Please understand that. Now, if you choose to do this, if you choose to love someone, if you choose to sacrifice for someone, guess what? You're going to be okay. All right, you're going to be okay. Because here's what Jesus says in Luke 6. Give, and it will be given to you. A good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over will be poured into your lap. For with the measure you use, it will be measured to you. Whatever amount of compassion, kindness, gentleness, humility, patience, forgiveness, and love that you give, that will be given back to you. And so I say, go ahead and put on these clothes every single day, knowing that God has got your back. All of these clothes go on in order, right? You put your outfit on in a particular order this morning. I didn't notice anybody coming in with their drawers on the outside today, right? You put all this stuff on in order. We clothe ourselves spiritually in order as well. What you wear reflects who you are. So here's what you can do. This is my challenge, I guess, to you guys today. Make a decision to clothe yourself with these things. Make a decision to clothe yourself with these things. Make it the first thing you say. God, help me. You're going to forget all these. God, help me to put on all that stuff Wayne said. All right, God's going to be like, all right, well, I got you. No problem. I remember the list. God, help me to put on compassion, kindness, gentleness. Compassion, kindness, gentleness, humility, patience, forgiveness, and love. By the way, did you notice that there's 7 of those? How many days in an average week? Does the average week have 5 days or 6 days? Thank you! Yes, a child. He got it. The average week has 7 days, and so if you're going to put on compassion, kindness, gentleness, humility, patience, forgiveness, and love, you can concentrate on 1 per day. Now, don't put your actual clothes on like that. Please. Put your whole outfit on, then go outside. All right? But you can concentrate on these things. If you want these things to take root, you will likely have to make and remake these decisions. There is very little chance that you're going to hit a home run at your first at bat or throw a touchdown pass first time you touch the ball. Very little chance of that stuff happening. You're going to have to make and remake a decision to put on these clothes because what you wear reflects who you are. Can you imagine what your life would look like if you made and remade these decisions? You'd have more peace in your life. You'd have more joy in the everyday. And dare I say it, maybe even happier, just as on the whole, just happier. But peace and joy, that sounds pretty good to me. If you make and remake these decisions and put these clothes on every day, could you have more peace in your life? Could you have more joy in your life? Listen, if that's not enough, just you, and I can add one more thing to that. If people who belong to Jesus begin to put on these things every single day, not only are we having more peace and more joy in our lives, but the reputation of Christianity that has been sullied because of Christians would start to change. Ever since Kanye West's new album came out, great album. I love it so much. The question, what do Christians believe, has increased in its Google search amount. And I thought, man, that's a really scary thing for somebody to search online, because what gets displayed as what Christians believe isn't always necessarily how normal Christians act. And so for us, if we put on these 7 things, if we put on this compassion, kindness, gentleness, humility, patience, forgiveness, and love, the actual reputation of Jesus and Christianity could change because of you, because of what's happening here at Liverpool Christian Church. What we wear reflects who we are. So let us be people who are clothed in compassion, kindness, humility, gentleness, patience, forgiveness, and most of all, love. Jesus gave us the greatest display of love that any of us could ever see. He gave his life for us. We're going to go into a time of communion now, where we can think about the cross and Jesus going to the cross and giving his life for us, displaying love for the entire world to see. We have 3 tables in the room, one on each side with a gluten-free option over here and one in the back. And on these tables you'll find a little cup and a little cracker. And these 2 things are a reminder of the love that Jesus gave for us. So every Sunday we take this. We take this little cracker and this little juice, so that in the hopes we never ever forget what Jesus has done for us. The great love he has shared with us. The great love that he has given us. The compassion, the kindness, the gentleness, all that he has poured out on us. And so today, as you grab that little cup and little thing of juice, I would encourage you to be thankful. Come back to your seat and pray prayers of thankfulness that God sees you, that God cares for you, that God loves you. You are dismissed.